Okay, welcome to the round 2 of this tournament. Today, the motion that the team debate is this house would abolish the ethical tax for sex workers in the porn industry. And I'm Ludovica Gallo, one of the judges for today, and I ask the other judges to present themselves.
I am Irene Bianchi.
And I am Elisa Costigliolo.
Okay, so the debate can start when the first speaker of the proposition team is ready. We can start. So good luck to everyone.
Okay, can you all hear me properly? Okay, so if everyone's ready, my speech will start in 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Giovanna Di Marzo, and I am the first speaker of the proposition team on the motion of today. The motion says, this House would abolish the ethical tax for sex workers in the porn industry. I will start the debate by defining some terms. First of all, by abolish, we mean completely remove the ethical tax. But what is this ethical tax? In Italy, that we will just assume to be the context of this debate, the ethical tax is an additional 25% fiscal surcharge placed on top of ordinary income tax on earnings derived from producing or selling pornographic content. Then we also want to specify as proposition that by sex workers in the porn industry, we refer to individuals who legally earn income through the production of pornographic material, whether as actors, performers, producers, or content creators. This does not refer to illegal trafficking or prostitution. We are debating this on a legal economic level. Porn production is legal in Italy and across most of Europe. The ethical tax was introduced under a moralistic framework, not an economic one. It assumes adult content production is inherently harmful and therefore justifies financially punishing those who work in it. But the industry has changed radically throughout these years. There's been the rise of platforms like OnlyFans and independent. I accept.
Okay, so you mentioned that the 25% tax was introduced with the sole purpose of punishing the people that make money off of it. Don't you think that it has some other points, some other motives to be introduced, such as just making money off of it? Simply economic.
All right, but I will actually answer this developing better my first argument. But I will start by saying that why should these workers, though, even on an economic level, as you say, why should they pay more? Why should they get this tax? Why they and not any other worker, any other actor? I mean, as I was saying, these workers often operate outside large studios, and they rely on their income for financial stability. And then let's face it, they already face significant stigma, legal gray areas, difficulty renting even in house. So, I don't see the point of taxing them and not any other worker. But I will continue and explain this better in the contextualization and my argument. Thank you for the question. So fundamentally, the state, by giving them this tax, is not treating them as citizens engaging in legal labor, but they are treating them as people whose work deserves to be punished. Now, but why is this an issue? Because it creates 3 major arms structural discrimination because it singles out one legal profession as morally inferior, embedding the stigma into fiscal system. Then the economic vulnerability. Most tax workers earn unstable income, and penalizing them with an additional 25% taxation pushes them toward not declaring income or depending on intermediaries. And then third, it reinforced the stigma and social exclusion because by taxing them more, the state tells society these workers are less deserving. And this deepens the discrimination. So as proposition, we propose to completely abolish this taxation. And we will do it in 3 arguments. One developed by me saying that this is not equal. Like equality should come before moral. The second one will be about the economic discrimination. And third, that these just embed stigma into legalization. I will proceed now with my first argument. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just start my argument by asking a simple question. What does it live to live in a democracy? Because at the very minimum, it means that if 2 citizens that commit no crime, that pay their dues and follow the law, are treated by the state in the same way, the state owes them the same treatment. Not approval, not moral applause, but equality before the law. Yet the ethical tax throws these principles out of the window. Pornography, as I've already said, is legal here in Italy. The production of pornography is legal here in Italy. But the ethical tax treats sex workers as if they were doing something shameful, dangerous, or morally corrupt. Now, you can agree on this or you can't, but we're not talking on a moral level. We're talking about a financial level. Imagine 2 people. One produces explicit adult content and one produces violent horror films, for example. Both are legal. Both create content some people dislike, but only one is punished by the state with an extra 25% tax. This is not regulation. This is discrimination written into fiscal policy. If the government truly believed that porn was harmful enough to justify punishing workers, it would ban it, but it doesn't. Instead, it chooses to profit from it by extracting more money from the very people it morally condemns. This is the worst kind of hypocrisy in a way. The state wants to appear morally superior while happily taking a larger cut of the profits. You cannot have it both ways. Either this is a legitimate industry and you treat it fairly, or it is illegitimate and you prohibit it. What you cannot do is punish people for working legally. This house should care about equal treatment because it is the bedrock of liberal democracy. If you allow the government to pick and choose which workers deserve rights and which deserve punishment, you bend the rule of law into the shape of ruling ideology. First, they come for the group society already mistrusts, but once the mechanism exists, no one is safe. This motion is not really about porn. It is about whether the law should treat all citizens with equal dignity. And on proposition, we firmly believe it should. The ethical tax, to conclude my speech, the ethical tax is not a financial tool. It is a moral weapon. It violates equality before the law, illegitimates stigma, and it enables the state to act as a moral judge rather than a neutral protector of rights. For a democratic society committed to fairness, this tax has no place. I thank you all for listening to me.
Thank you. Your speech is 8 minutes and 17 seconds. Okay, when the other judges are ready, give me a sign. So, okay. The floor is yours.
Right.
So my speech will begin in 3, 2, 1. So, good afternoon. I am Rihanna Lawen, and I'm speaker one from team opposition. We are the team that firmly believes that this tax should not be abolished for various reasons. So, I will first begin with this. I will have to disagree with something the speaker one of the other team just mentioned, because you said that it was something, you said something about punishing, but I don't agree with that, because the tax itself is called ethical tax, and it's called ethical for a reason, which I'm going to be expanding furthermore after. So our team line, I'm going to speak now about our team line. So the team opposition, we firmly believe that pornographic content should belong to a different category of when it comes to taxation, because it actually holds a social and psychological risk within. So I'm going to be talking about the psychological and some of the social risk, and then Jada, the speaker two, is going to confuse and present her arguments, and Maxime is going to make a brief resume and continue expanding. So, as I was saying, at first you said that this is not something moral, but it's merely economic. But then you actually mentioned about the morality of the state, which I think wasn't very clear at the beginning. But okay. You said that they treat these actors as if they were inferior. But I don't think so, because these actors know what they're doing since it's legal. It's not something maybe like prostitution where some or sexual trafficking where they may be forced to do it. They have the free will to do it, and they know there is a tax involved. So I will now present my first argument. So our team thinks that this additional charge will discourage people to pursue such career. And you may ask, why should people be discouraged to follow such careers? I'm going to explain this to you. First, people that more than engage, that consume this content, as I said before, suffer from severe psychological and social problems, or risk, if you want to put it this way. For instance, dependence, isolation, or even the loss of touch with reality, which I'm going to be expanding as I speak. Firstly, people that consume, accept it.
Sorry, if the goal is to reduce participation, so to discourage people to get this career, why not regulate the industry instead of financially punishing workers?
I don't really think it's financially punishing. It is true that they can regulate it, but it's more up to the state. And I think that this additional tax should still be there. As I said before, it was ethical, and since it holds a lot of risk, not having this tax can compensate for it. This is what our teams believe. And I hope I have answered your POI. Thank you for your question. So as I was saying, people that consume this content are often depending on it, because when you consume pornographic content, sorry, this releases dopamine that makes people usually come back for more and more, making it a sort of addiction. So my second point is about isolation. People that that consume this content, individuals, are often very lonely, and they find it very, very difficult, or at least more difficult than the average person, to make relationship with others, whether it's romantical or not. And my last point is the fact that some of this content actually makes people lose some touch with reality, because this actually set up really unrealistic standards for for their actors and the people they see in real life. So when people come out of their houses, they may expect something really ideal and unrealistic for this person. Therefore, I'm going to reaffirm our point, as we believe that this tax should not be abolished, because people that engage in this content know the risk and the ethical consequences it holds for the other persons that are consuming it. Thank you.
Thank you. Your speech is 5 minutes and 15 seconds.
May I proceed?
Okay, when you're ready.
Hi everyone, I'm Angela. I'm the second speaker of the proposition team, and I am presenting two of our arguments that we already explained in our team line. We are talking about the economic reality. We will talk about the economic reality of sex work and the ethical taxes and institutionalized stigma. So, first of all, I want to say something about what was said in the first speaker of the opposition team by the first speaker, and it was said that the speaker talks about principally the special focuses on the problems that comes from pornography, rather than the actual point of this debate, that is of course whether taxes are is fair or not to taxate people that are sexual workers. So I think that this is not relevant to our discussion, and we think that of course it's not fair to talk about these things, because we are not talking about the moral aspects of sexual work, because of course this is something that our constitution should establish, and not us. We just want to argue that the taxation is not fair. Also, if you want to put this on a moral level, we could say that it's not fair to say that some work are more equal than others in a way, and these works should not be taxated, but other work should be taxated. I mean, this is not fair at all, and I think this is actually immoral if we want to put it in this way. And also now I'm gonna start talking about my first argument, that is the economic reality of sex work. Of course, someone might say that this tax is important because sexual workers are more wealthy than other workers, and for this reason they should be taxated. But this is actually not true at all, because this is not a realistic point of view of the sexual industry. Many sexual workers are accepted.
When did we ever say that porn industry individuals that are related to it are richer than others?
No, I just said actually that someone might say I didn't refer to anything that you said. So I didn't mean it that way. But yeah, we think that many sexual workers are actually sort of they gain the same amount of money that any other worker gains. So for this reason, they shouldn't be taxed more, and it's actually a tax that it's probably that becomes ethical, like on a it say that this work is unethical, and that's why we should tax it more. This I mean by putting this tax. And the other argument I want to talk about is regards the stigma around the taxation. Why, for as I said, this tax is ethical, and so it sends a message that the sexual work is immoral, and that's why it should be penalized. And as the first speaker said, that should be disincentivate. But actually, this I don't think that by adding a tax, we are disincentivating sexual workers at all. And actually, we are the exploitation of sexual content bigger issues than already is, because by adding more, by taxing more sexual worker, they might be constrict. They might feel forced to find other alternative ways to work that are not safe, or maybe that are more unethical. And for example, this can escalate into isolated workers or predators. They might feel like they need to put ourselves in danger to gain money. So it's not it's not safe, I think. And yeah, in conclusion, I want to say that so it's not only unjust on an economical way, but also on a moral way. And I think that it also adds to the discrimination factor, because by putting this tax, we are saying that sexual workers are not equal to other workers. So on a personal level, a sexual worker might feel attacked even more. And this is why I and our team thinks that it's not fair to tax more workers. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Your speech is 7 minutes and 20 seconds.
Can I start?
Yeah, I think. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So my speech will start in 3, 2, 1. Okay. Hello, I am speaker 2 of Team Against, and I wanted to start by confuting with some of the points that speaker 1 and speaker 2 have said. One of their points they said was that these actors find it harder for their social life, mostly because of this tax, and we don't believe this is true, because workers should go into this industry knowing that it is criticized by many, even though it is legal. So even though you're saying that this industry is legal and that they shouldn't tax it higher and make it feel like it is immoral to do, it is still perceived by people by people in general as something more immoral, and they should already go into this knowing that they will get they will be criticized by many. Also that many illegal industries can use this content, and therefore the tax should be used as a protection more than just, for example, if you put this tax, you're not making it harder for these workers to live their life, but you're trying also to protect them from having their content spread illegally. Another point they said was that democracy equals being equal, therefore pornography should be treated as something that is not immoral, and they shouldn't feel as they're punished or penalized. We don't believe that putting this tax on others makes them feel as it is a punishment, and it shouldn't penalize them in any way. They should just be aware that making this content or going into this industry will give them a higher tax to pay, just because it is not work that a lot of people do, and it is not work made for everyone, especially for minors. That is why it is there's a higher tax, also because you have to protect minors from ever seeing this content. Then
Yeah.
I accept.
In what way this taxation you think that protects minors? Because this is a completely different problems, I think.
So I think this taxation should be imposed to protect minors, because it helps the industry and the businesses that actually make these this content, help them to have like good websites and know like trafficking of any of their content. This also falls under my argument, so I will further explain it in my arguments. So to continue in my argument, we think that adding the tax, we think that this additional tax is justified because it covers any of the programs that revolve around this industry. So any of these legal programs should be protected by the tax to protect the content and the people in the industry, both in a physical and psychological way, as if their content would ever to be leaked or trafficked or be recorded without their consent, it could have a psychological damage on them. Also because they would feel at risk knowing that their content is out without their permission. Also, it also helps with the younger generation, so minors especially, because we would not want them to see any of this content as it is not made for them, and having this tax would help them would prevent this ever happening, because it would make sure that this industry's content would not be seen on any other social media platforms. So we think it is crucial to have this ethical tax, because it protects both the workers and other people, especially minors, from ever seeing it when it is not what they wanted to see. So if it was just you're randomly scrolling on Instagram or on any other social media platform, and you see this type of content when you specifically didn't want to see it, it could have a damage on you, because you've never like deliberately wanted to see it. So the tax will help decrease this. Another point we wanted to make was that the industry should keep the tax as this industry in general is considered immoral by many. And we believe it should be discouraged because it is, for example, selling alcohol and tobacco. They also impose this tax because of the it is something that should be prevented, and a lot of people should be protected from it, because it could have negative consequences on people. So the pornography industry is similarly linked to alcohol and tobacco selling, because you shouldn't, it's something that is considered immoral, and the government should consider the tax to be kept for the industry, because it is also a way of, like, if you generalize this whole industry, it is using human bodies in exchange for money, and it goes against a lot of human beliefs of doing a moral thing as their job. That is why the noun, hence the name of ethical, is put in it. So we also believe that it is quite an immoral job you could have, but also because it keeps it's almost as a it could be considered immoral because of the spreading of your body online, even though it is legal in many countries. People still see it as immoral because many people can have different beliefs and go against it. So this is
Yeah.
no, you can't do it now because of the time. But thank you for listening to my speech.
Okay, thank you. Your speech is 7 minutes and 54 seconds. Okay.
Can I start?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, my speech will start in 3, 2, 1. Hello, I'm Bianco Domenico. I'm the third speaker of the opposition team, and I will start my speech by analyzing. I will start my speech by rebutting what was said by the opposition team and analyzing my team's team line. So first of all, our team never talked about. We never talk about minors. We said from the start that this was about the financial and economical problems caused by the tax on the sexual workers, not on how it could affect minors or non.
It's okay.
By how the tax dot.
You want to start again? Or If you want to start again, it's fine. It's not a problem. If you want to take a minute.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Okay, can I start now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I will start my argument by first of all rebutting what the opposition team said. So we never spoke about minors or how they're affected by the industry. We're talking about how the tax affects the workers who have to pay it, and so the ones directly involved in it. Also, we never said that workers would take part in illegal productions, but that if when they are affected by the tax, it's more probable that they will take part in illegal productions, which just worsen the case. Also, I believe that a tax can't protect minors, since either way the tax is present or not, minors could still witness pornographical content through illegal means. So whenever it pops out on other social medias like Instagram or TikTok, it might also be reshared illegal content, not only legal one. Also, we never talk about the sorry. We never talk about the immorality of pornography. We talk about how this tax is immoral, since an ethical tax on a specific type of job is, despite this job being legal, it just causes the job to be seen as illegal, and it causes stigma around the job and those who work in it. Also, the tax itself just causes a massive I'm sorry. Also, we're not talking about the morality of the job. We're talking about the effects that the tax has on it. So, okay, so now I will sum up our team line. So first of all, we talk about how the how despite the job being illegal, the tax treats the workers with discrimination. What? No. Treats the worker with discrimination and creates like despite the job being illegal, workers are undermined and treated with stigma and discrimination because of the taxation, which lowers their profit, while other works aren't treated in the same way. Also, it's not like it's part of the pre-existing taxation; it's a taxation on top of the already pre-existent ones, which which further undermines uh, and it also causes most sexual workers to either not declaring the income or having to search for other jobs or other fields of occupation that might either be either more unethical or less safe. And also, it reinforces the stigma and the prejudice that people have against sex workers and the pornography field itself. I end my speech.
Okay. Thank you. Your speech lasts a minute and 40 seconds. Okay.
Maybe in?
Yeah, sure.
Right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Maxim Chubrov, and I am speaker 3 of the Team Concho. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak, and my speech starts now. So, essentially, I would like to confute some of the points that the Team the proposition team has made, such as, for example, the first one is that uh, the tax actually makes it more difficult for actors to support the actors and the people in general of this field because it makes it more difficult for them to live by stripping them of essentially 25% of their income. However, as our team already mentioned in our team line, we believe that it's a good thing as we should consider the porn industry to be immoral. Therefore, people should actually be discouraged rather than encouraged from participating in its activities and to essentially look for other opportunities in life for a career. Uh, and another thing that really caught my attention in the proposition team is that their team line states that the porn industry shouldn't be taxed differently simply because I didn't really understand why, honestly, because it's just like any other industry doesn't really work for me because it's not. It's really not just another industry. It's really not just the same as any other as any other because it's different, right? It can cause severe social and and social and psychological problems in the society, right? And which would not actually be seen in many other industries. And the industries that do have this effect on the society, such as causing essentially problems, such as we mentioned before, alcohol, cigarettes, tobacco products, they are in fact taxed differently. And right, they should, because essentially they're causing harm to society, as we said before. And the porn industry can cause harm because especially to minors, for several reasons. So there is the psychological impact, which especially for somebody who's underage or just a little kid that stumbles upon this video, uh, should be is gonna be so impressed that it's gonna most likely affect his mental health, which is just one of the examples of the negative health impact that this industry might have. And because of these,
Right.
right?
So if this is about protecting society, why didn't the government regulate the industry or instead of just taxing more?
Right. Thank you for your question. Good question, actually. I would like to. The way I'm gonna answer it is because once again, as I said before, it's not like any other industry, and therefore it cannot be taxed the same, because there are the government, the extra steps, the extra measures that it has to implicate to control this industry, because it does, right? We don't see, we can just stumble upon it on an ad or in a commercial on the TV. But the money to regulate this kind of programs should still come from somewhere. And why is it that the general public, the general population, has to pay for them when there are people who are profiting off of it? Uh, so therefore, this tax is actually necessary to control this industry, so that the government doesn't have to take out extra money from the pockets of the general public to control it. So, right. Another thing that caught my attention in your in the speaker two, I believe it was that a worker of the porn industry, for example, a sexual worker, might actually feel offended and feel inferior because of the text, because of the ethical tax, which I want to disagree with, because it doesn't. Doesn't necessarily imply that their work is inferior, or that they, as a person, are inferior in any way. Because, as I said before, there are reasons for this tax, such as all the problem of the all the programs that the state has to pay for to protect the general public from this type of content. Um, and that is the primary. This is the primary reason for the tax in the first place, right? Because it's not in any way to offend. Okay, maybe different people have different opinions about everything, and this tax could be one of them. And just because somebody has a bad opinion about it, doesn't mean that it shouldn't be there. Also, because there are actual hardcore economic reasons why it should be there, which is, as I said before, to pay for those programs. All right. And the third speaker, in the beginning of their speech, said that the proposition team has actually never mentioned minors and the effect that it has on minors in their speech, which is actually true. They never did. But if they haven't mentioned them, doesn't mean that the things we're discussing don't affect them, because they do. And there should be programs, in fact, to protect them, because which this tax is a part of. Sorry, I heard the ding. Could you please say how much time?
1 minute left.
1 minute left. Right. just enough. Okay, and discussing this topic, discussing this tax, has a direct effect on the health and on the psychological impact that those children and those minors might have, which is actually horrible. It's horrible that somebody who actually innocently stumbled upon this sort of content has to endure the consequences of the psychological trauma. And to protect them from it, we are exactly the topic of our debate is the tax that of the 25%, which would in fact cover the programs that would protect children from this kind of content. So the minors debate, the debate about the minors and having them in our speeches is actually implied forcefully, because we can't have a debate without considering them. Sorry, are the dings? Is the 8 minutes done?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you. Your speech is 8 minutes and 15 seconds. Okay. Now we can go on with the reply speech. And as you know, we start with the opposition reply. So we are. When you're ready, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. And I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. So, good afternoon again, and thank you everyone for your honorable speeches. Although I can understand both of the different perspectives, I must admit that I found some flaws in the proposition theme that I'm going to address throughout my speech. Firstly, they keep sort of avoiding the ethical tax, which has a name for a reason, as I addressed, because it holds several consequences, as I said in my speech. Then they pushed a lot of the economic instead of also expanding to other areas of this issue, of this motion. And they also sort of ignore the consequences and the risk when we mention them, because our team, the team of Contra, talked about the consequences mostly for the consumers, but they were mainly talking about the risk for the sex workers in general, which actually know what they're going into, as I said before. And I believe speaker 1 or speaker 2 said that they were going to think that they're inferior just because of this tax, but this is something that you said, not something that people may say, because people probably don't even know about this tax in general. And we recent a strength that I believe my team has is that we actually made a sort of parallel example with tobacco and alcohol that are also taxed in a similar way because of their ethical and moral issues. And also the third speaker said that it forces these sex workers to search for another job, which actually proves our point, because we said, and we actually defend that this tax should not be abolished because it will encourage people to not go to not pursue this career and to search for other jobs. Then also our speaker 3 addressed the fact that our speaker 3 also addressed the fact that pornography is not found in ads or actually like in a public areas because it's more restricted for 18 plus. And how much the time?
40 seconds left.
Okay. Therefore, to conclude, we think that we were more substantial because we consider more of the risk for the consumers that are actually in a larger quantity than the producer itself, and we also consider different aspects of risk, and we also respected our team line throughout the speech. And that's it.
Okay. Thank you. 4 minutes. Perfect. Okay.
Can I go?
I think, yeah. No, 1 second. Okay.
Okay. So if everyone's ready, my speech will start in 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Joanna Di Marzio again, and at the end of this debate, we are simply choosing whether we are not simply choosing whether a tax stays or goes, but we are choosing between two very different worlds, two ships sailing in opposite directions. And my job is to show you which ship carries society towards fairness, dignity, and coherent principles. The opposition invites you on top a ship guided by fear, fear of a controversial profession, fear of moral discomfort, and fear of human choice. In their world, the state stands at the harbor and says, if we don't like your job, we will tax you until you reconsider your life decision. This is a world where taxation becomes a weapon of moral engineering, a world where legal workers are treated like societal mistakes that must be corrected through punishment, because that's what we're talking about. A world where the government doesn't just regulate industry, but it uses the tax code to intimidate individuals. They justify this through analogies to alcohol, to harm, to minors. But notice what their world truly relies on: the belief that unequal treatment is acceptable if the state can imagine a higher moral goal. That is a very dangerous ship to sail on. We offer a very different vessel, one that's anchored in fairness, not fear. Our world begins with a simple, stable principle. If a job is legal, the people doing it deserve equal treatment under the law. Our first argument showed how ethical tax violates that principle. Our second argument showed that the deep social consequences that the actors have to go through. And our third argument revealed that this tax is not a protective measure. It is an economic penalty imposed on the people with the least power in the industry. In our world, a worker does not lose dignity when they step into a controversial job. Whether you like it or not, doesn't matter. It's a legal job. Controversial for sure. In our world, the government protects citizens. It does not punish them for their profession. Our ship sails with a compass that points consistently towards equality and fairness. The question for you is simple. Which ship has a better world? The opposition ship is built on selective fairness, on the idea that some workers deserve financial punishment because their work makes us uncomfortable. It sails into a future where the government shapes morality through taxation, where controversy becomes grounds for discrimination. The propositionship is built on principle, on fairness that does not disappear in controversial cases, on the belief that legal workers deserve legal equality, on economic justice for those who already face vulnerability. Their world is about discouraging people. Our world is about respecting people. So, at the end of this debate, step back and ask yourself, which world treats people with dignity? Which ship protects fairness? Which future avoids moral panic and stays loyal to democratic principles? The answer is clear, and that is why you stay with us. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Your speech is 4 minutes and 5 seconds. Okay, so the debate is on, and congratulations to everyone. And now we just go in the judges' room, and then we come back with the results and some feedback. Okay.
You were really good, actually. It's amazing.